Greetings, world.
Greetings.
Okay.
We are live at MEN-talRollaDeK. This is Queen's Corner. This is number 6. I'm Rich Lamar, and I'm with two queens today, Queen Kenya, Queen Shanae. And this is what we do on Sundays. We do the Queen's Corner. Today's topic is, should all women be treated the same? And I guess we're going to find out. I guess we're going to find out.
Yes.
And this is MEN-talRollaDeK. Jermaine, as you know, is behind the scenes, doing the behind the scenes stuff in all a good way. And we're going to kick it off. We're going to have probably some more queens joining us a little bit later on. You know how it goes. They be in and out and really telling us what's up. But we're going to kick it off with Kenya and Shanae. And this title says, should all women be treated the same? I got my hand on my chin, and I'm not wondering why all women should be treated the same. I'm wondering, what does this title mean? But anyways, welcome, Adija. Is that Adija?
It
Yes,
is
me.
Adija.
Hi.
Is that Adija?
It's Adija.
I'm excited to see Adija. I'm sorry, audience. I'm excited to see Adija. I haven't talked to Adija in so long. I know she's out here.
How you doing, Rich?
What's up, Adija? Y'all just pause for a minute. Y'all go get y'all a little drink or something. I'm gonna give Adija a hug, and we're gonna start the show. But the title, Adija, is, should all women be treated the same?
Okay, right.
I'm gonna learn a lot this show because you know this title still I want to learn from it. So, should all women be treated the same? Let me start out with that question right there on the title. And let me see, who should go first? Eeny, meeny,
Let Shanae go first. I knew it.
go
So
first?
here. All right. So let me give a little more background on where this evolved from, and the should all women be treated the same. So there was a conversation had, and the conversation was built on women coming from different backgrounds, different upbringings, different surroundings, which they developed, and when coming into a relationship, how they should be treated. And the other said person was like, well, no, if this woman acts this way, I'm going to treat her this way. My argument was, no, treat a woman the way you treat a woman. Just because a woman comes into a situation acting a certain way, or a way that you don't think is culture, doesn't mean that she should be treated differently. Why not try to teach her something? If you treat her the way that everybody treats her, how is she going to learn anything different? If everybody's treating her a certain way because of her approach, or because of the way she may dress, or the way she may act, which obviously points to her not being exposed to anything else, how will she learn if you're going to treat her like everyone else treated her? So my argument was, no, treat every woman like a woman, regardless of their approach. So are you not going to open the car door for her because she always opens it for herself? Or are you going to say to her, no, honey, this is what happens. I open the car door for you, because she never seen that before. Or are you just going to let her open the car door and say, oh, well, she don't know. This is how she used to being treated. That's not right. No So comment. that's where it came from. And the other person's argument was, no, if this is the type of woman she is, I'm going to treat her accordingly. Okay, there's a place for that. There's a place for that. However, a woman, if you know how a woman should be treated, or you know the things to present to a woman that will make a woman feel a certain type of way, then present every woman with that. Because how will she ever know anything different if you don't?
Interesting.
Rich?
Oh,
Where
my
is
bad.
Rich? Like what?
I'm sorry. I've been doing live since Friday, and I didn't even know the mute was on. Um, so you're saying she will not learn anything. So what do you mean by that?
What I mean is, if she's never shown anything different, if she's put in a certain category, okay, for example, I'll use myself for example. I was raised by my grandparents. I never had my father in my life. And when I started dating, my kid's father was more of a guy. I'm gonna be nice about this, but he was a guy from the neighborhood. So he didn't open doors for me. I didn't expect him to open the door for me because I had never seen this, right? So as I progressed in age and I got older and I started to date men in different categories, or as some people would say, of a different caliber, I had a guy actually tell me, no, I need to open the door for you, or no, you don't walk on this side of the street. I walk on this side of the street. So had this person never showed me this but said, oh, she don't know, she just, yeah, that's just the type of chick she is, how would I have ever known that or learned it? So my point is, you can't just place a woman in a certain category because she presents herself a certain type of way due to her environment. And I use like the Jungle Book as an example of the kid that was raised around a bunch of gorillas. He was still a human. Someone had to show him that he was a human. He didn't know.
Mm.
So okay, so that's what you mean by what she's learning.
Yeah, how's anyone ever gonna? Okay, so again, we could use a whole bunch of different examples. We could use, you know,
Oh no, I get it. I
before
get it.
before I met Caribbean people, I didn't understand their culture. I couldn't understand their lingo, the way they talk. But now I've been around a bunch of them. I understand patois. I understand their customs. I get it now. But no, I didn't understand their customs until I was introduced to it because I'm an American. So
Mm.
am I supposed to be treated like, oh, they're just a dumb American? They don't know because I'm American? So I use that to say the same thing as women who come from different environments and different backgrounds.
Mm.
So what if she's a hood rat? Show her something different. So what if she's a classy chick and you're not a classy dude? Invite her into your environment and show her something different.
Okay, so that's your take on it. And
That's my take on it.
okay, before I go in, I'm gonna ask the other two queens, what are their take on it? And I'm gonna go with Queen Kenya there. Can you hear me?
I can hear you now.
Okay. Yeah, what is your take on it? Then we're gonna go to Adesia's take.
I think that this is a tricky question. Um, I understand what Janae just said. However, I look at it differently. Um, I'm a I embrace the culture, environment, ideas, and things of that nature. I honestly believe that it could be tricky because guys aren't all raised the same, just like women aren't all raised the same. And so some people don't know how to treat a woman specifically. Um, so if they aren't taught how to treat a woman, sometimes they just go off the vibes of the woman, of how the woman present themselves. To answer the question, should all women be treated the same? I don't believe all women should be treated the same. So my answer is no. No, all women should not be treated the same because every woman is not the same. So I just believe that you meet people where they are and you deal with them where they are. Um, should everyone be treated as a human, respectfully and in kind and things of that nature? Yes. But each specific woman, I think that they need to be treated differently because they're different.
Okay, yeah, and Adisha, have you been listening to this in this title?
Yep, I've been listening.
And it is a tricky question. When I heard the title of the live, I was like, interesting. So, but what is a queen named Adisha take on?
Um, yeah and no. So I agree with both sisters. So yeah, because how I see it is you shouldn't change your moral standing as a person because of how someone behaves. Just because someone wants you to slap them in the face doesn't mean that you should slap them in the face. So when men say, well, she acts like this, I'm gonna treat her like that, it's like, so you aren't like that. So if you don't think that, then I don't think you should be behaving like that. That's not, it's out of your character. But then there's another half of it where it's like, yeah, because no, because you shouldn't be giving someone 100 if they're giving you 50. So what I mean by that is sometimes as people, just because we're trying to be good people, we'll go out of our way to do things for people who really aren't really deserving of it. So if you do meet a
Mhm,
woman who is ratchet and she's rude and stuff, like, are you gonna treat her with respect if she's disrespecting you? No.
mhm,
So it's a
mhm.
50-50. Like, I believe people should give what they get, but don't lose their moral standing. So you could be going out with a woman who wants to reveal her body or who wants to talk a certain way or be belligerent or whatever. And you're not just going to carry on being respectful because that's what you're trying to do. You'll switch it up. So it yes and no. It depends.
Yeah, I can see all 3 points because it's a it's it's like a candle that's being burned at both ends. The way this question is, uh, if one end is closer to your finger, you go down to the other end, right? It's
Mhm.
if somebody wants to be treated. I mean, I've had met women. I've dealt with so many women in my. I mean, not like so many women like I was, but okay. I mean, that didn't really come out the right way. But I'm saying I talked to a lot of women and relationships, and some women's. And I remember one woman saying she don't mind her man getting aggressive and slapping her around because that
Mm,
means he
mm,
loves her.
mm, mm, mm.
She says he's showing that he loves me, and you know, I had did a live before this live, and I was saying some people are satisfied, don't think the relationship is any fun unless any drama is in it,
Mm,
and
baby.
some people think their relationship is not any fun if they're not shipping champagne and kissing. And so all three of you have a very valid point on it. You know, Jermaine
Mm.
says, how long should a man spend on teaching a woman about what she lacks before to he say that I'm done before he says I'm done, I think so to speak.
What does he mean? What she lack?
Yeah, what is that supposed to mean?
Right.
I think
What
he
does she
means like if he's with a woman who is just like lacks certain things, but he's still trying to stay with her and like add to her substance kind of thing. How long should he be there trying to add to her substance before saying, "Do you know what, I give up, I'm not doing this no more."
That's a
That's an
personal choice.
individualized, exactly. That's an individualized choice.
I mean, well, let me ask you queens this question, since we got three queens with really three different outlooks on it, but kind of the same. Be, all three, all three of you made the same point. Which, correct me if I'm wrong, what you were saying. It really depends on the woman and the situation and her personality and what it is and what's going on. But put yourselves in it, queens. And what I'm getting at is this is a question for all three of you. You're with this guy on this date, and he is opening every door, and he is doing, and he is almost wiping your mouth when you eat. He's pulling out your chair.
Good.
So I mean,
See, that's over the top and over the
he
board.
wants
You can't
to
come with this.
he wants to feed you grapes. I mean, he is Mr. Romantic.
He is not going to be in that same space 12 years later. So don't start nothing you can't finish. If you're going to start like that, over the top and all that, that gotta be something that you're going to continue to carry on. People change and shift over time. Like, it's one thing to be respectful to someone and be polite to open the car door, to open the door. That's one thing. But feeding me grapes and wiping my mouth, literally. For real. If you're doing stuff like that and you start it off and you know you're not going to continue to, don't start it. Don't start something you're not going to continue to do.
What if he does continue?
If he does continue to do it, as long as I'm comfortable with whatever that is, then I will allow it if that's something he's willing to do. But that I would also let him know I'm not requiring this of you. If this is what
Hmm.
you would love to do and I'm enjoying it, then fine. Hey, let this be this. But I'm not requiring this of you.
Yeah, I
I
agree.
just want to be respected. I just want to be treated, with decency. I think another part of the side of the question is, like, how do women allow men to treat them? Like, I'm not finna just put up with no dude treating me any kind of way. You can come at me however you want to, but if you're not coming correct, I'm not finna entertain you. Rich, you there?
So yeah.
There you
So
go.
what? So this guy that comes so romantic, he's dotting every I and he's crossing every T when it comes to being with you. Uh, what do you tell him, Adija, while he's doing all this?
What do I tell him?
Or do you tell him anything?
Thanks.
You just go along with the flow, right? Or do
I
you
just
go along with the
let
flow?
him,
Or do you bring
yeah, let him know he's appreciated. Um, Contrary to the other sisters, I personally wouldn't mind if someone caters to me like that. Whenever I want to be alone, I'll just let them know. But if that's what they want to do and it makes them happy and that they want to do that for me, then go ahead. I'll just let them know that they're appreciated, you know, they're loved, they're supported, and thanks.
Mhm.
Okay, so you'll take it like, okay, this guy is very romantic, very nice. Okay, cool. So you won't accept it, you won't accept it overly, and you won't reject it overly. Uh, you would just flow with it. But before I go on, another question says there's a contradiction, Queen, due to your opening statement. So I guess that's towards Shanae. Or which queen are you?
I don't understand.
Yeah, specify eternal
Yeah.
Which
balance.
queen? Which queen you referring to on that? I don't want to jump on anybody to make them answer that, but it'll come. So Shanae, the guy is really being romantic. So you just flowing with this?
I'm definitely going to float with it due to I understand there's highs and lows to everything. And I do understand that the way someone starts something, a lot of times they're putting forth their best effort, and that effort could change due to, again, there's highs and lows. So I wouldn't expect him to be that way all the time, but I would enjoy it and I would invite that type of energy at that time, I would love it. If it did become too much for me, I would just tell him like, it's okay, thank you, I get it. But I wouldn't expect him to be that way consistently because I know that's just it's not doable.
Mhm.
Hmm.
I mean, what if he's having a bad day or something's going on with him and he just doesn't have the ability to perform in that way? I mean, I would understand it. So, but again, I also understand that, a first impression is everything. So if that's what his first impression is, yeah, I'm inviting all of that.
Yeah, I mean, somebody treating you nice, and that's who they are, and what they are. But it still depends on. It's like I was saying this earlier with somebody. It's still. I mean, women are in a unique position. Women, like, a man can have a great size, body, car, but still the woman chooses.
Mhm.
And people may say, well, why she choose him? She just left a guy with a better job, better car.
Mhm.
You hear this all the time. Uh, But the woman, she chooses, and she's with who she's with for her reasons. Everybody, every woman's reason for being with a man is different. Uh,
Mhm.
it depends on what they're looking for in a relationship too. Um, there's so many different kinds of relationships. There's women that like women that want to be with men and women. There's women that like men that just want to be with that man. And there's women that like that man but want to have another man.
Mhm.
Uh, so that's why I asked the question, what would your response be to somebody that's just over the top romantic? The woman chooses, so it depends on the type. Now, the
Mhm.
other question I have for you women is, um, how would you feel if you went on a date with a man and he didn't do any of these things? Adija, he didn't open the door for you. The only thing he did was pay. But in terms of really catering to you, nothing. Did you hear the question? Or maybe she's doing
What's the
something.
first half of the question?
I said I talked about the man that's over the top romantic, wiping your mouth,
Mm.
feeding you grapes, opening the chair, pulling the chair back, opening the door, paying. And what would your reaction be to a guy that didn't do any of that? All he did was pay, but he didn't cater to you any type of way in terms of uh, chivalry or really, really paying attention to the details of you
That
and looking out.
all he did is pay.
All he did was pay and talk and eat.
Nah, nah, nah. I don't need all of that stuff. That's not substance to me. So she, I wouldn't be choosing a man from his ability to simply pay for things anyway. So that wouldn't be acceptable for me at all. I'd prefer the man who's, I guess, over the top and wasn't paying than the guy who is paying and isn't paying
Ah,
any sort of attention to the relationship.
interesting. What about you, Shanae?
I agree with Adesha. I wouldn't really be impressed. I mean, so what? I could pay for myself. Make me feel some type of way. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, it's pretty. And Kenya?
I agree with the ladies. I don't expect, unfortunately, I don't expect a lot of things from men. But when they do it, it's like, oh wow, he did that. That's great. But I don't have high expectations as far as what they should do per se for themselves. What are they going to do? I have high expectations for myself and what I want and what I will allowing myself to keep getting exposed to. So if they do it, they do it. If they don't, then fine. But then after the interaction, like conversation or vibe or whatever, if I'm not pleased with his personality and character, it's not gonna matter whether he opened up a car door or paid for the meal or whatever. None of that's gonna matter if we don't connect. For me, that's it. And if it's as long as he's not being rude, like he could not open a car door and still be polite and talk to me nicely and interact with me nicely. But open a car door is not a requirement. It's nice if you do it, yeah, but you don't have to do that. That's just my take on
Hmm. So, yeah, because I'm working with this question because this question really boils down to what a woman likes or what a woman would like to put up with. And and I see the point that where yeah, you can learn something new. And whenever you interact with anybody, you learn something new, whether it's good or bad. But in terms of should all women, for me, for when I look at that question, should all women be treated the same? I look at it as integrity. You should have integrity with every woman. It's an integrity that's not phony. You know, because I see relationships as someone should pay attention to relationships, and and because if I treat somebody with integrity, I don't care who she is, and that's kind of on Shanae's point. If I treat somebody with integrity, I don't care if where she's from or if she could be a
it.
poor woman or she could be a wealthy woman. She could be a famous woman. She could be an infamous woman. She could be an uneducated woman. She could be an educated woman. They're both going to get integrity from me.
Mm-hmm.
And and when it comes to relationships, I see that the action should be the action that should be genuine. Now,
Mm-hmm.
somebody can fake integrity. A guy can open the door for you and pull a chair out and cut your throat after dinner.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Or a guy
Mm-hmm.
could, because I'm just that type of person that don't believe in scripts and don't believe in uh, methods and systems and gauging people on you might as well have a notepad with you on the date. Be like, okay, you open the door, check. Okay, check. That's not a relationship to me. A relationship is relating. And
Right.
I was talking on my live before this that I don't judge. I don't accept or reject. I learn. And
Mm-hmm.
you can't learn if you're judging. You can't learn if you're accepting all the time. You can't learn if you're rejecting. You learn when you don't judge, accept, and reject.
Mm.
And you'll see the phoniness, whether that is genuine him opening the door or not. And
Observation.
you will know the difference in that. And um that's why a lot of men go crazy. And I've talked to men, they'd be like, well, man, I put it down on her good. She drove in my car. I just bought a new caddy. And, he says all this stuff. And he's like, she rejected me for that no job having, blah, blah. I said, well, that's what she like. She's seeing a phoniness in you. I mean, you
It
can't fool
has
the
no.
jury.
Mhm.
I mean, you like what you like, right?
Mhm.
People like what they like. So is it a bad relationship if she like to get slapped around and she like that?
Right.
Now that's a deeper question. But
Yeah, because ooh,
for me that's not good. That's somebody who, like what Shanae was saying, that's somebody who haven't learned.
right.
Because where there's people getting hurt, there's a problem in the relationship, and and
Mhm.
and especially physically. but words and psychological things can hurt worse than fists.
Exactly.
Where a guy will try to make a woman feel not feminine, try to, you girls know all the games, and what guys have done and tried to do. But for um, now, what if you like a guy and he's not doing something that you like, in terms of, how should I put this? What if you like a guy and he's not doing something what you like sexually?
Tell him.
Exactly.
Uh-huh.
What I would
It's are you,
express what I like and assist if need be.
and how would you handle it
Need
the same
help,
way?
help you.
I say that again.
If you need help, I'm willing to help you. But can you do this for me, please?
Did you watch this movie? Well, I don't know. Wait, Jermaine says rich is not about integrity. Then what is about? What is it? He's got these open-ended questions.
Right.
Um, okay, what if you with a guy you like and everything is on point, but you don't like his size?
His what?
You don't like his size. You don't like uh this this when you get naked, when you get in the bed with this guy, something turns you off, or uh are you saying you would just whatever it is sexually, Shanae, you're saying you would just tell him.
Yes. Yeah, I would express it. I mean, yeah, I don't have I'm kind of outspoken, which I feel like Adija and Miss Kenya, I think we're all pretty outspoken. And if
Yeah.
I don't like something, I'm gonna tell him. And so now we want to talk about what happens after I tell you and you're not reciprocating what I'm telling you. Then I'm gonna turn passive aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm being serious. I'm being honest. If I express something to you, I tell you you're not listening, then, the person who I am changes. I may clean up all the time and stop cleaning up now. I was cooking. I'm not cooking because since you not meeting my need, I'm not meeting yours. Straight up.
Mm-hmm.
And both you queens feel the same way on that, or would you just leave?
Um, it's, I definitely would tell the person. And I feel the way that Shanae feels as well. Like if I tell you and you make no efforts to reciprocate, especially if I'm doing what I need to do for you, and
Right,
I'm
because
asking
we
you to
always
do
do.
something for me. Yeah,
Right.
and I'm asking you to do something for me, and you just can't seem to do it. Then yeah, I'm gonna have a problem with that. Like
hmm
you probably gonna get cut off. I'll find somebody else that's capable and willing,
And guess what? When they cut
and we can
off
be
and you
friends.
come back, yeah, and you come back around after you cut them off, it's a different man.
Yeah.
Hmm. What what do you ladies feel about first? When I say first times, I'm not talking about the first time going to bed with the guy or the first date, but the first time you catch this guy cheating. Is the first time the last time? And the cheating wasn't cheating to where like you caught him in the bed. It's like,
Okay, Rich.
You just a whole other place.
Come on, Rich.
You
Okay, keep
going a
going.
whole other.
You going down a rabbit hole, but keep going.
look, everybody wants to know out there. You girls already have the answer, but some don't. Just because you have the answer and there's one time is the last time, that might not be the way other women think.
Hmm.
So some women don't care about a man cheating because they got other men.
Yeah, that would be me.
So, so what I'm saying is, you catch.
the the thing with that is like the honesty, the communication part. Because me, I don't care if you see somebody else. And then to me,
Yeah,
it's not cheating.
that's what I'm
You
saying.
know, if we communicating now, if you don't tell me, then that's different. Then I'm not going to trust you. It's a trust thing. Because I don't mind you being with other people and doing your thing. But if you're not going to communicate with me that that's what you're doing, then that's a trust issue.
Mm-hmm.
I
Right.
can't trust you because you're not willing to communicate with me about what you're doing. No,
Mm-hmm.
it doesn't matter that you're having these relations, but it is privy for me to have that information that you are, because my well-being is being affected by you having relations with other people. So I need to know
Mm-hmm.
that.
And what's your take on it, Shanae? You was gonna answer me before I finished. One time is the last time for you, or you gonna look at it
No,
like Kenya?
no.
Or you just should have told me.
Mm-mm. I was being sarcastic when I was cutting you off. But no, no, I agree with Kenya. Now, okay, my viewpoint has changed from my 20s to my 40s, okay? When I was in my 20s, I felt that way. But now in my 40s, no, I got other people too. Do what you do, but we need to keep a open understanding of
Mm,
what's going on with each other.
exactly.
And for example, I had a guy one time say to me, if you're doing A, B, C, and D, let me know so I can, make sure that we're protected. And I'm like, yeah, no, I would tell you if I was.
Mm,
So yeah, it's about communication. And no, I don't really take it as cheating. I know 90% of the time somebody has somebody else, whether you're in a committed relationship or not. It
exactly.
happens. It's
Exactly.
just what it is. And to be blinded to the fact and think like it's never going to happen, then we going back into Christianity and stuff and being fake and phony. And that's not where we're
Naive.
at. That's
Oblivious.
that. Yeah, that's not where we're at. I mean, every man in every marriage has had another woman. I don't know one man on this earth that can say they haven't. They lying.
Right. Mm-hmm.
It's a lie.
Preach.
So, I mean, we all been around our grandparents. We all had our grandmothers that stayed with our grandfathers, and every last one of those men had outside children.
They did.
So, at the end of the day, it's about open communication. So, nah, it's not cheating. Is people
Adija,
put too many titles on stuff.
I can't wait to hear you, Adija.
Yeah, I'ma leave. Don't cheat on me. So that's just how I see it. I treat cheating like domestic violence. Like first time, and that's it. Also, I don't believe that every man in a marriage or committed relationship, or every woman in a marriage or committed relationship has another person or cheats. I don't believe that. Like I don't, yeah. There's got to be people out there, like there's too much variety. There's got to be people out there who do cheat. There's got to be people out there who don't cheat but have someone in mind. There's got to be people out there who have backup. And then there's got to be people out there who just don't cheat at all, don't have eyes for anyone else, whether they're the man or the woman. So I
I
think
agree with that.
there's loads of variety. So I wouldn't say that no one cheats in a marriage. I wouldn't say that everyone cheats in a marriage. But if you cheat on me, yeah, nah, that's it. Because it's betrayal, it's the lying, it's the mixing of fluids. It's nah, I don't flex with that kind of stuff. And I don't know, I just see it as disrespectful. So if you was to cheat on me, then nah, I'm not staying.
Now, what if you never found out about it?
If I never found out about it, I wouldn't know to leave.
Hmm.
I have to know. If I knew, then yeah, I'm gonna leave straight away. And it's gonna be even worse if you hide it from me and I find out later. You're better off telling me
Mm-hmm.
straight away. Because if I find
Mm-hmm.
out straight away, I'm gonna leave. But if I find out that you've been lying for 10 years, I'm not just gonna leave. I can't tell you what my reaction will be, but it will be a very emotional one, and you know what those sorts of things can cause. So I wouldn't advise it.
What if you found out, like, and I'm just hypothetically speaking. So, what if you were in a relationship for like 60 years and then your mate passed and you didn't find out any of this stuff until like somebody else showed up at the services with their kids?
Wow.
Again, that's something. It will be an emotional response. So I'm not trying to say I'm
So
crazy,
for 3 more
obviously. Yeah,
funerals.
but huh?
No, I understand, but I'm just saying, like, in your eyesight, though, that relationship would have seemed as if you were with someone who was committed and wasn't
Yeah,
cheating, right?
yeah,
That's what I was bringing out of it. So, I mean, when we say sometimes, like, I know there's some people who don't cheat and who are committed. I believe that there is. I really do. But I also believe that there's always an exception.
yeah. There is always an
Mm.
exception. Like you wouldn't know, innit? You wouldn't know, but just because I'm doing it by numbers now and just by how the world works, rather than
Yes.
by experience. So there's 7 billion, let's say, of people on earth. Not every single man on earth, yeah, is going to be a cheater. That's how I'm seeing it. Rather than, because obviously, like, you're not gonna know. If I'm in a relationship
True.
and as you said, like, when he's dead, that's when I find out like you got 2 other wives coming, like that show on Netflix. And then you got the other kids and stuff and all of this different stuff. Like I'm going to be raging, you know what I mean? And it's
Yes.
gonna be great. Like I can't say how I would respond. But like, there's not every single man on earth cheats. And to answer that question, I'm not Sa Nkosi. Nah, polygamy and me don't.
No, Sar. No.
Never, not doing it.
Somebody might get beat up
I,
in the
I,
household.
I'm not for polygamy either.
Mm-mm.
Polyamory, yeah. Polyandry, yeah. Polygamy, no.
That's so.
Yeah, that polygamy, too many women under one roof never works. I'm sorry. If we do, are you gonna buy us all our own house, or how this working?
Even if he is gonna buy us all the just the simple fact that I am thinking to, like, when he's not with me, I don't know if
Right,
he's with another
right.
wife. I don't know if he's there
Yes.
looking for another. Like, I'm
Oh
not
no,
doing
no,
all that.
in poly, they're supposed to tell you, so you're supposed to know. Well, from what I've heard, they let
But
you
Supposedly.
with
know
polygamy,
when they're spending time with their other
See, that's
wife or
even
whoever.
worse. That's
but
even
with
worse.
Exactly.
polygamy is you just to that one man and you ain't with nobody else. That's
But
polygamy. They just
he's with
expect you.
other. Yes.
Yeah. I ain't going for that. Because if you're
Mm-mm.
gonna have
Yeah.
somebody else, I'm gonna have somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So polygamy then, or
Mm-hmm.
polyamory. So you're for
Mm-hmm.
polygamy with the M and not the N. With the M as in mum, and polyamory and polyandry, but not polygamy, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, I hear that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm not for any of them.
So she can pull on me anytime. And
Oh,
anyway,
Oh,
just what is cheating, Queen? What do you consider? What's cheating to you if it's not sexual? Or is there such thing to you as cheating that has nothing to do with him with another woman having sex?
Of course. Cheating is I look at cheating as in a relationship. When two people come together in a relationship and they're gonna say they're committed to one another, um, in a relationship, and they don't keep the agreement within that relationship between the two of them. Any going outside of the agreement, that's cheating. It can be emotional, it can be sexual, it could be a whole lot of different things. But if you're not communicating and sharing in that whatever it is that you're doing, then I look at that as a form of cheating.
So you're
agreed
saying breaking
completely.
the contract.
mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah.
Breaking the contract. If you guys got an agreement that you don't get no other girl's phone number, that's cheating, right?
Yeah.
Yes, in emotional relationships, if you're talking to another woman every day that's not your woman, that's a form of cheating too, because you're building like an emotional connection with her that removes your attention from your mate.
Mhm.
And I honestly believe that it's important for humans to have those kinds of relationships, point blank, period. So that's why I don't do monogamy. Because in monogamy, you expecting your partner not to have
Right.
friendships or
Hmm.
relationships with other people. Like, that's absurd.
Yeah, it
You
is.
really
It
just think
is.
that your partner just needs to be to you and only you? No, they got to
Hmm.
interact with the world.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true. That's why you have
So,
boyfriends and girlfriends at work.
exactly. That's my IG bae. That's my Facebook wife.
Yeah,
La, 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 la,
yeah, yes,
la. Hey,
yes. Yeah, that's why you go to work and you tell your boyfriend at work all of your stuff from, yeah, I know exactly
mhm,
what you're talking about.
exactly.
So it's
But if
okay if
you
you
were
do this.
in those kind of monogamous relationships, if you had the conversations and you both agreed, hey, this is what our relationship is going to look like. It's okay for us to have these relationships. Let's set the boundary. If you're within a monogamy relationship and you set the boundary, okay, we can have our friendships and but we're not having sex or allowing ourselves to get overly emotionally attached. Or if we see where something's going, we can come to the table and talk about this. You got to be open. It's really about the two people wanting the relationship. Really, that's what it's about.
Right.
If
It's
they
all
relate,
about
then
the agreement. It's
It's
the
about
agreement.
them.
Yes.
right.
Because you got some
Hmm.
people out there, sisters, yeah, that don't like. You got a man and a woman, for instance, they're getting together, and them two both have the same kind of outlook. So you know how you said that, naturally people aren't just for each other and stuff like that. What if those two literally just wanted to be for each other? That's them. Do you get what I mean? Like everyone
Yes.
has their
Yeah.
own little thing. So you got some people that's like you, who, yeah, like you want to be. I don't want to explain it wrong. So what you said, right? And then you got
Right.
someone like me, for instance, who's a little bit more. Yeah, I don't want to explain it wrong. You got someone like me, for instance, who's a little bit more antisocial naturally, and so is my man. So we don't really want to mix with people anyway. Why? That's how we. That like yeah. You got
I
everyone.
understand
Everyone's
that. I
different, and I think
understand. I understand.
it's all about like minds and not like.
Hmm.
So if you're with someone and you know that they're like me, you can't get with them because you know that eventually you're going to do something that's going to cause hurt for this person. So I wouldn't advise it.
Right. Right.
Like minds need to come together and stay
Hmm.
together.
Hmm. You know, it's so funny you bring that up. I was having like a conversation with a sister, and she was just complaining about her man. And you know what my response to her was? I said, I have a couple exes that they ended up, we separated, and they found somebody who thought exactly like them, like was on the same frequency as them, and it worked. And I'm okay with that. So I get
Yeah.
what you're saying. I get that.
So what
Mm.
about the man that? What about the friend at work, Shanae, that want to give you a massage? Home,
The
would you let?
friend at work, what about him?
Do you want? What if you want to give you a massage on the break and at home? Will you let him do it?
No, no, no. He's just for purposes of venting. That's it. I just need to vent. I don't really like you like that. We venting, and I'm going back home to my man.
But you wouldn't let him massage you and relax you and
No, 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 no. Don't even look at him like that.
I think that those kind of work relationships also are like slyly, let's be real, rub our own egos. You get what I mean? Like, because there's
Yes.
someone that you can go to at work that's gonna be like, oh, you look good, or this or that. You have that extra person other than your man
Uh
who
huh.
gives you that attention. So you
Yeah,
take it.
when he tired and he can't meet that attention need, I got my Facebook boyfriends and work and all of those people.
And even if he isn't tired and he is texting you you're still gonna accept the guy
True.
at work.
That's
You
true.
still are.
I sure will. Yes.
so how far is that massage gonna go if you want that attention at work?
What you say, Rich?
If you want that attention at work, if he's filling in a space, then how far is that massage gonna go?
How far is the massage gonna go?
Uh,
He's not gonna massage me.
oh, he's not going to. Okay.
No, you have people who
Yeah, I
you
was
like to
just
be massaged by, and it ain't the work person. The work person is go to lunch and talk on breaks.
Okay, so what is this massage person, or
yeah. The
where does
work
that come
person
in?
is
The
the
massage
massage
person,
person
you
would
go
be your
pay
man,
him.
no?
You pay him at the massage place or your
Oh,
man. Yeah,
oh, you talking about that? I'm just talking about another friend. I'm not talking about a professional massage.
I know, Rich. Um, well, I guess when you build a relationship with someone who may be able to meet that need, then that's when he'll fall into place. I haven't met him yet.
Okay, but females do it. I mean, I won't go down. I
You
won't go
no,
down.
go, Rich.
No,
Okay,
go on,
I'll
go
be
on,
back.
go on.
I'll be back. I gotta go out for a minute. I'll be back. Okay.
Okay.
Go get that
Now go on,
massage, man.
Rich.
What are you saying?
Oh,
What are you saying, Rich?
no, I'm not
Yeah.
saying anything. It's the Queen show. It's not my show. So,
But you were saying something, so
Yeah, and we
finish.
shall confirm whether you're right.
no, as just I was in that situation one time
Mm.
where,
Hmm.
yeah,
Okay. Was you the massager or the
yeah.
friend or the workman or was you the man, the main man?
No, I wasn't the main man. That was the thing. I
Oh,
wasn't the
so
main.
you bad, Rich.
Well, see, that's what I don't want to go. Hey, it wasn't. It's what she wanted, right? She wanted. I meant to
You can
please it.
stay there convincing yourself.
Okay, that ends there. That's another lie. Uh,
It is.
Sarah, Sarah says, so what do you want the man to do when you are pregnant?
I've been waiting to
What man?
answer this question. Uh, So if you have a husband and he gets you pregnant, I'm guessing he's saying during those 9 months, what do you want him to do? I mean, I'm no longer on like. In fact,
I
during
think
the
this
9 months of
question.
pregnancy, yeah,
Well, I
you know,
think this question is going towards the polygamy.
yeah. So during those 9 months, yeah, you're actually able to be more active than you are when a woman isn't pregnant because she's not having a period for 9 months now. So I don't really get that question. He can do the same thing he was doing before. If you're talking about maybe when she gives birth, then you're gonna have to wait 8 weeks or so, man. Just wait.
Right,
I don't get that question.
right.
But sorry, y'all need to come on and ask the question, or clarify these questions. And next time you guys ask a question, put put what question, what queen and what comment that you're referring to.
Mm.
Yeah.
Uh, okay, so the masseuse guy and the see, I was a lot of those guys. I'm always that guy
So
that
you're always the friend guy. Is that it? You're always the go-to guy.
yeah, I, I don't want to say it
Or
that way, but I guess
how do
that's
you feel about that? You're comfortable with the go-to guy?
I wasn't trying to be there though. See,
So was you trying to be the main man?
no, I wasn't trying to be the main man. It was just I've always been the type of person who talked and helped where I could,
He
and
said help.
people and some people get closer to me in that, and it turns into something else. Um,
But if it's a pattern and a cycle and you see it happening, then you have to see that it's a pattern and a cycle. So you're cool with that. That's what I'm asking you.
I'm
Even though
cool
you're
with
not trying to be that, it just happens. So
no.
if it keeps happening and you keep finding yourself in that position, then clearly you okay with it because you
I'm
keep
okay with.
doing it.
I'm, okay. I'm cool with helping people, but sometimes you help somebody and they want to get closer, but they have somebody else.
Again, Rich, if you have been in that situation more than once, how do you respond differently? It's like, okay, by the third time you realize, okay, this seems like this keeps happening, but this person got somebody and now they trying to get close. How do you respond to that? Do you keep helping them, as you say, or are you like, you know what? Um, I'm glad I could help you, but this stops here. Like, how do you respond to that?
We're being too kind to Rich. We need to.
Well, not, well, no,
We're mixing our words.
normally they say, normally I say, they'll say, well, you're helping me, and my boyfriend knows about it. And the only way I stop it
That's
is
probably
when,
a lie.
That's a big lie.
Yeah,
so,
that's probably a lie.
They lied to you,
and
Rich.
and I was like, oh, yeah. So I said, well, the only way I stop it is when I say, well, I'm going to talk to both of you then, since the problem's real. Let me talk to both of you. That normally cools it down. But I mean, if you see this person off and on, you know, I'm
So the
only
answer
here.
to my question is, yeah, you like being that guy.
I like helping, but it's maybe I do like being that guy, but
Nah,
I
Rich,
don't
Rich.
want to be
nah,
that dude.
Rich.
Notice, yeah, Rich. I haven't said anything during this whole time. I'm gonna lay into you.
That
You know
guy,
that,
that guy I have trouble with,
Rich.
but relationships I like. I like relationships, but being that guy, it makes me feel like I'm sneaky or something. I'm not sneaky with it, I don't think. I don't know. I'm
Mhm.
doing what she wants me to do. Is that sneaky if somebody's doing what you want them to do?
Well, you know they have a man.
Exactly. So what happens when the brother man finds out about you when she done lied and told you that he already knew but he didn't, and then he approaches you? What happens then?
I was like, well, she said you know.
Which subconsciously you knew wasn't true.
Right.
I don't know if that's true. I don't know. Look,
Yeah, you do.
I
Mm,
Otherwise, you wouldn't have said to her that you would want to speak to both of them. If you believed her, you wouldn't then say, "Okay, let's speak to both of them." Then.
right.
no, because it's like um, I got to be very careful. I can't be in the bed with people I'm helping, or can I?
Did you?
Maybe
Exactly.
once, maybe once or
Once or
twice.
twice.
Once or twice means a good 7 times.
Exactly.
No,
All
that's too
right,
much.
free
I would
to
have said
7.
no. It just most of it never goes that far. It's just it's there. It never goes that far because I never push it that far. So I was like, well, I'm
So
just here. What am I? Just a I'm just a vibrator for you or something. It never turns into sex most of the time.
an emotional crutch.
That's what that is on a woman. So from a woman's standpoint, what is she doing? That's what I want to learn.
You're an emotional crutch.
She's fulfilling her ego emotionally.
Yeah,
Oh, that's what's going on.
and
This
using
is what.
you as her emotional
You're being
crutch.
used. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're being used, and you're allowing
Oh,
yourself to be used every time.
okay. I'll be right back, y'all.
Is he really going?
Let me get my gun. So I'm being used, and I don't mind being used that way. So that's what you do, are saying.
No, we're not saying that
No.
you don't mind being used that way. I'm asking you. I asked you that earlier. Do
Yeah.
you like being that guy? You said you like helping. And if that's the help that she needs, do you like being that guy? Because you continuing to help in that way.
Well, helping is one thing, and that guy, I'm not seeking it. I like helping, but I'm not looking for it.
Okay.
But it's I don't know. It can be very complicated. I mean, have you ladies ever liked the guy? And wait, where's his laugh? Where's his laugh coming from?
Because you're shifting the attention off of yourself onto us. But go
Yeah,
ahead, ask your question.
this is Queen's Corner. This is Queen's Corner. That's another live with me. I gotta make another live. Because once I start talking about me and that, then I'm gonna start flipping the name.
Hmm.
Uh,
Question.
but it's interesting what women do at work to me because I've been on that end. Um,
Well, a lot of times women are seeking attention
Yeah.
So
that
attention
they're
is
not
the
getting
answer
in there.
for.
If they're in a relationship and they're acting a certain way at work, they're probably
Mhm.
just seeking attention that they're not getting within their relationship. 9 times out of 10.
Oh, so that's
That
what
other
it is.
time is she just wants attention regardless of whether she's getting it or not.
Right.
Now, have you ladies ever done this at work or had a crush on somebody at work while you had a boyfriend?
Had a crush, yeah, but I ain't never acted on it, or the person didn't even know.
Right.
They didn't know.
Yeah, time later. So I did at one point, and then like a whole year later, we was talking, and I basically let them know because he let me know that he liked me, and he was like, I would have never known you liked me. I was like, yeah, because I don't do that stuff.
Okay, moving right along. Uh, let's see what let's see what Shire question was. So you are having sex with the first 3 months. You're having sex the first 3 months, and 7 months out of 9 months of the pregnancy. That is for
Yeah, yeah, the whole pregnancy,
you.
the whole pregnancy. There's nothing against it. There's nothing wrong with it. You're not harming anyone. You're not harming the baby. It's perfectly natural, and you can do it for the whole 9 months.
Yeah, sorry. Yeah, that's sorry. Sorry, be coming up with the questions. So, you girls got me thinking. Uh, I'm all off track now. Okay, so Adisha,
Yeah.
Are you a one man woman, or do you? I mean, because see, Shanae and Kenya is is older than you. I won't say they're smarter than you, and you're smarter than them, or you're not smart as them, but they have more experience than you in terms of in, in terms of life. And so, are you a one man woman? And you said there are men out there that don't cheat. That did you say that?
Mm-hmm. As
And
in, not every man cheats.
right, not every man cheats. So do you do you see yourself with a man like that? You think that's possible for you to find,
Yeah, anything's possible.
right? But do you see yourself with a man that way?
Mm, yeah, I know.
Look how she answered that question. Yeah.
That's the only reason I said it like that is because I don't, I'm in two minds about relationships and all of those things. So I don't know. Yeah, if I'm looking for it, and no, if I'm not. I made that really complicated. Yeah, yeah, just say
Right.
yeah.
You said just yeah, yeah, but it's now you're in your 20s, right?
Hmm.
And wow, you see what's going on, all the internet, all the women, and most of these women don't even, most of the women on the internet don't even have clothes on.
Yeah.
What's wrong
And
with that, Rich? What's wrong with
I'm
that?
not saying, I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. I'm just saying, Adisha said there's men out there that don't, there's a one woman man, and it's going to be hard. You know, I respect, I see what Adisha is saying. She says there's men there that, but the temptation, and that's why I said, do you see
Yeah.
yourself being with a man like that, with the temptation out there, that, and every year it's getting more and more seductive.
Yeah, man. Not everyone is into. Again, there's 7 billion of us on Earth, man. You think every single man is interested in girls who don't wear clothes or interested in girls who do? You think every single man's interested in just being like having sex with every girl they see? You think every man isn't? So Yeah,
What
there's a possibility for all of these things.
what I
Which
think, Rich,
yeah.
is what I think is that it's possible for a man to have lived his life and experienced all that and then get to a point where he's like, okay, I want to settle down and be with one woman. I done did all this other stuff. I really just want to be with one woman now. I think that's possible. But um just in general, yeah, no.
Think about all over the world as well. Look at what Jermaine has said there. It's about one woman not having the same value as the next. And that can be said about men too. There's some men who have dignity. There's some men out there don't who have a certain value or who was brought up in a certain way. There's certain men who value their own virginity. So it really does depend where you go, the east, the west, their values, how they were brought up, the things they think, what they've been through. There's a lot of different types of people. I would even say there's like, as a whole, over here in the UK and in Ethiopia, for instance, like Ethiopian men are really, like in general, are really respectful of themselves. Like they have a lot of dignity and they are very like in depth with their culture and their own women. So there's a certain value they have and a certain way they go about things that would be different to men in the UK or like Jamaica or in America, for instance, just because of that value.
But
And
Deja,
at the end of the day, they're still men.
okay, now what does that mean?
That I believe that at least 95% of the men in the world would be like not like what she just said. I believe there's a small percentage that would be like what she just said, but the majority of them, no, not. Regardless
What
of
would you
culture,
say?
regardless of upbringing, regardless of any of that. At least 5% of the men in the world is like what she said, and the rest not.
Sis, what would you say women are like in the same respect?
Well, unfortunately, I think women have been oppressed and suppressed within their own femininity. And so they might desire to be a certain way, but because of culture and upbringing and things of that nature, they are made to do certain things in certain areas in different cultures. Like that has to go with religion and beliefs and cultures. And um, yeah, I think it's different for women because of the world that we live in. Like men have the system is more catering to men in regards to
Yeah.
relationships and being able to have those freedoms within relationships. For women, it's just like when we want to be free, when we want to be liberated, and within relationships, we're looked upon as being too sexual, too seductive, too
Mhm.
things of that nature. Whereas it's men, they're sowing their royal oats. It's them finding themselves or just being a man or whatever.
Yeah.
It's more accepted in that aspect. But
What would you
go ahead.
what, what would you say outside of the what women do because of society? Let's just base it off of how we think, like, when we're in our own circles and we're talking amongst ourselves, what we think, what we say, how we actually feel outside of what men think about it. How would you say we act? Like, how would you say we actually are?
How women actually are,
Yeah.
as far as what, just existing, period?
No, like, so you know how we was talking about like the men before and the 95% of them would just cheat or whatever and so on and so forth.
Or
Like,
do you think I think that women are just cheating? Or do that's the question
yeah,
I'm
and
asking.
how maybe sexually open we may be and in regards
I
to stuff
think
like that, because you know how men are always going on about polygamy. Oh well, we're polygamous because of this, and oh well, we're this because of this. What would you say to the men to let them know, like, look, women aren't actually how you lot think they are, you know. This is how we think.
Right. I tell a lot of men that all the time, like, because they have these set ideas about what they think women are, and I'm like, I don't know where you got that from, but that's not
Yeah.
me, dude. But anyway, so I think there are a lot of women who, especially like in committed monogamous relationships, who want to be something else. They really are not being their true selves. They don't want, they're stuck in committed relationships. This is my personal feeling about some of these women who are stuck in committed relationships because of the idea of marriage, because of the
Mm,
idea of relationship, of expectations of culture and family and what has been taught to them. But on
yeah.
the inside, it's just like, I just want to be myself. So that's why I believe some of those women find themselves in the office romance relationships because they really just want to be free. They really just want to be their themselves. And over time, you could have married a guy when you was 18. By the time you're 30, you're not the same person. He's not the same person. And you may have shifted and changed into a different you. You're not desiring the same things that you wanted before. And so, oh, brother Mark at work might look like more of what you want right now versus what you got into when you was 18 in this marriage. So I just think that people put too much on expectations within relationships instead of really going after what they want for themselves. Like if people were more honest and being free within themselves about what they really wanted, then they probably wouldn't have so much drama as far as relationships.
Yeah.
That makes any sense. But as far as going back to like what you were saying about the men in the culture, like literally, I know a guy who is heavy in culture in Nigeria. He's from Nigeria, heavy in the culture in Nigeria. He's
Yeah.
married, they have
Not great.
kids, and and we have been friends for over 10 years. And we have an emotional, spiritual connection. And his wife knows about me, but she doesn't know to the extent and the depth about me. See what I'm saying? But
Mm.
she's okay with that. It's like 10 years. We still talk. We FaceTime, this, that, and the third. But he got a whole family. So that's why I say men not they might not be physically having sex, but they having relationships outside of their marriages. Believe me, they are. Whether it's physical or emotional or mental, whatever it is, I just believe that they have relationships outside of
You
marriage.
think you think women do the same?
Yes, I do. I especially think they do the same in the Western culture more now so
Yeah.
than anything because one, they tired of looking stupid because they find out that grandmama and them then stayed in marriages 20, 30 years and they got
Played.
children, right? Other people. So it's like after you've seen something happen over and over again and you become a part of that cycle, it's just like, am I gonna do what everybody else did or am I gonna do what I wanna do?
I have a question. Do you think body counts count in terms of women?
Do I think body counts
Mm.
count?
Yeah. Like, you know how men
No,
usually, in
I do not.
general, yeah,
No,
me
I do
neither.
not. Because it doesn't matter. It really doesn't. And nine times out of ten, a woman who has just as a high body count as a man, she's going to be looked upon as the whore.
Exactly.
But that man got the same amount, so he a hoe too. But
That's
they,
what
Mm.
I say. That's what I literally.
but they not
But
looking at him like that.
but let's look at society, and this I want you ladies to look at this. Not that you haven't looked at this before, and I'm just going to throw this out there because this is Queen's Corner, and I want to see a woman's perspective on it. Now, let's say there was no such thing as marriage. Let's say there was no such thing as 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 sex looking at as sex as looked at as being nasty.
That's the way it's
Okay,
supposed to be.
Okay, well, okay, well, let me hold on, Kenya. Hold on. Let's just say that sex was not looked at as being nasty, and marriage didn't exist, and everybody's living like they're living, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And what do you queens think was the first secret?
First secret of what?
The first secret of life. What do you think that first secret was about?
Do you mean the first secret amongst the people?
The first secret. What I'm saying is, I think the first secret in life was a sexual secret. Soon as
Mm.
they brought up all of these must and must nots.
They found out what we could do in the middle of sex. Sex is powerful. That's one. You
Number
can
one,
manifest and do all kinds of things with sex.
right? Yes, I mean our glands is filled with it. It's a natural thing. Now, I'm not saying it should. It has just because it's natural. It has the right to be greedy. See, there's a difference in being sexually active and greedy. You know, uh, but if there, Adisha, do you believe in marriage?
I believe in unions, and basically that's what marriage is in my head. So, kind of. I don't believe it in a way that everyone believes in it nowadays.
Hmm.
And I don't think the government has to sanction it either.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
because before the rules and all this stuff, there was no hole. Like Jermaine says, who you tall in the garden to? But there was no. I don't think there was any holes, so to speak, before until men insecurity came up. I mean, a man can sleep around, they call him a playboy. A woman sleep around, they call her a slut.
But why though?
Never
Why?
made sense
Because
to me.
the same kind of woman that you go and look to find to sleep around with, all these different women that you sleeping around with, the same kind of woman that you looking for is the same kind of woman that they label as a slut. She's not a slut. She's
Yeah,
being free
I
within herself.
I
The
often
same
ask
way
the
you being free
question.
within yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I often ask the question, who's worse, the person who pays for sex or the ones who sells it? Really, who is worse? Because they're both on the same boat to me. So if you're a playboy and you're going around having sex with a bunch of hoes, then I mean, you're a hoe too, you know? You're both the same.
Well, you get into supply and demand now. We're talking about the economics of sex. Is one got what they need, one got what they want. Is It's a matter of human nature, but when you want to put a path to these things, see, when you want to put a path to the P, when you want to put a path to
Okay.
all of this, I'm saying that there's more married men in the strip joint than single men.
Of
Why?
course there are. Do you know why? Because they have oppressed their wife and kept her down where she cannot express her sexuality. They make her feel like if you go and be free and do this, you're not a woman of the cloth. You're not spiritual. You're not wholesome. If you're showing this and show a woman can be wholesome and modest and still show her body. That's her birthright. That's what she chooses to do. The same way he chooses to go lay up with the women who look like what he don't want his wife doing. Men are selfish.
And double standard.
Yes, they're selfish. How you gonna say, "Oh, I want to go sit up in the strip club and throw money at this one because she doing what I wanted to do," but then at the same time, you get back to the house, you don't want your woman, your wife, acting like that in the street, but you still want her to go buy. You go buy her some red bottom stilettos to get her to walk around the house to look like the same stripper you just left from the club.
Uh
Hmm.
oh. Uh
Hmm.
oh.
No, it's the
Okay.
truth. It's the truth. I often see that around cultures. It doesn't matter where you go. You go somewhere like India, yeah, and you notice that the women are all in their traditional clothing and the men are just wearing normal clothes. You go somewhere
Mhm.
like Nigeria, for instance, that you got the men, they can have multiple wives and they can buy land. I mean,
Mhm.
it's a bit different nowadays, but let's say back in the day a bit, they could buy land. When the woman, it was a taboo for a woman to buy land, just simple land. There's loads of double standards and it's rooted into the culture, so deep rooted.
Exactly.
Yeah, I mean, because I've noticed going back to that story with me. Now that you ladies said that, I remember that I never stopped a woman from being sexual. I mean, I never really said, "Well, that's nasty. Women don't do that," or maybe that's why that she had a boyfriend and she was doing that with me because I never had any stipulations on. I let her be sexual.
Well, Rich, it may have been that, and it may have been some other things incorporated along with that, because a lot of the women that you're talking about, they just seemed like they needed something. They were looking for
Mm,
Oh,
attention, trying to get whatever it was they wasn't getting at home.
mm.
okay.
So if they wanted to be able to freely express themselves sexually and use that dude, then that's what they was doing. But it could have been more. It was just that whatever they needed, they wasn't getting from somewhere else, so they wanted to get it from you.
And you were open to it, and
Exactly.
they obviously felt comfortable enough around you, which I guess would tie into what you were just saying.
Hmm. So this sex thing, why is it looked at as a bad thing? Jermaine made a statement about. uh
Because they can make money off of it.
oh
It's a
well,
man's world, right?
yeah. Go deeper on that, can you? This why is sex so bad? Sex is a good thing. Why is it looked at as nasty?
Because there are there are many sides of this. There's the
Mm,
side where the I don't even know how to say this. The system, the male system within society wants to control things. And so it oppresses the spirit of feminism so that it can control and make the money that way. And then the other part is just cynicism. I think that's the right word. I don't know. But it's just like they want to have control so much that they just it's not fair to say, but it is fair. Sometimes when I look at this perspective of male and female, as far as this is the sex is talked about, it's like oppression. It's like the white people against the black people. It's like the male against the female. You thing. Like in a way it's a self-hate kind of thing, and then again it's not. It's like it's a bunch of different things all at once, but a lot of it boils down to power. If it ain't money, it's power. But a lot of it to me boils down to power. They want to be in control, but they make it look nasty because they want to control how it's distributed. If
mhm.
they can control how it's distributed, then that means that the male will probably benefit off of more when it comes to making money than the woman will. Well, flip side of that, in 2020, the women are taking back their control because they coming out the closets. No, I want to be free in my feminism. I want sexuality. So I'm gonna do me, and I'm not gonna let no man tell me to do me. And that's why you
Yeah,
got all them Instagram twerkers trying to
that's
find
true.
themselves and get free.
So is this freak term just as a myth as sex is nasty?
Say that again.
Yeah, I didn't hear that.
You heard of people? People have been called, "Oh, she a freak." You think
Oh,
that's a fair
freak.
term? Freak, super freak.
I'm not saying freak. I said free. FREE.
No, no, no. I'm saying freak. I'm saying, is that a fair
No,
term?
no, no.
She's a freak.
No, I don't like that word. I don't like
Yeah,
freak. I
same,
don't like
same.
that word. I don't like for people to describe themselves as that, or especially for women to be described as that. I don't like that word. I think it's derogatory.
Agreed.
I think it is sexual expressionist is what I like to call myself. I'm a sexual expressionist. I like to express myself sexually, whether it be publicly or privately. I'm a sexual being. That's who I am. So I make sure that I conduct myself in an appropriate manner when I need to in public. I'm not gonna just be walking down the street naked, especially if it's a whole bunch of kids around. But I'm just saying, I'm feeling a way. I want to be able to express myself freely without having restraint, restrictions, or without being called. I don't care what they call me. They call me out my name. I don't care. I'm not going to answer to it. I'm doing me. I'm being free in me. Do you know how many people who are walking around this earth who want to wear stilettos, who want to wear nice mini skirts? They got the body for it. They want to. But instead, they're oppressed and suppressing their desires because their husband or their family
Or the
or
preacher.
society,
Or the,
right, then told them that's heathen ways. You don't do that. But what the preacher man on down the street doing as soon as he leave the church house? What is he doing? Go and look for the woman with the miniskirt and the stilettos.
well, you can preach on Sunday, girl.
I'm not. Let me get out myself.
How do you feel
I'm
about
very
that?
passionate about this kind of conversation.
Look, everybody's learning, right? Men need to know more about women's sexuality. See, my thing is this, and I guess that's why a lot of women feel free with me. I don't know if that's a compliment or not, but I never really looked at sex as being nasty.
Because
I've
it's
looked at,
not
I've looked at it being greedy. You know,
greedy.
yeah, I've looked at it being greedy.
Mm.
Uh, you know, but I never looked at it as being. I mean, it's a natural thing to me, but I've always, I mean, but when I've committed to a relationship, I was committed. But still, I still looked at myself. I still look at myself as a sexual being, but not a greedy one, not somebody that's. I don't look at it. I'm not going to treat a woman like she's a pleasure unit. You
And
know,
you shouldn't. Nobody should be treated that way.
right? But I'm just saying that's what I mean by being greedy.
Mm.
You know, because greed is just not sexual. It's eating up all the other food from everybody else, or is
Yeah.
where you're so consumed with yourself, you're only concerned with yourself.
Mm.
And that can be worse than sex. But this freak and these nasty sex is one of the most beautiful things. It's a gift. Why is our
It's
gland
what
so filled with it?
what
If you
has
look,
been made. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
it's just, I don't want people to get me wrong. I'm not saying to go out there and have sex with who you want to have sex with, and see somebody on the street and do it, whatever. But I've had my days. I mean, I grew up as a musician, and that's a whole nother story.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not gay. I never, I don't dibble dabble in that type of thing. But whatever floats your boat. But I'm not gay.
Mm-hmm.
Real women are too beautiful for me to even think about another man. Uh, but it's some people out there that's into some things. But these words, freak and nasty, uh,
You
I
have
don't
to think
apply
about
them.
the culture too. You have to think about culture. Like some people are raised to see sex as being nasty. Like a lot of religious people call sex nasty things. They look at it like that. But you raise people a certain way and you get them to think of it and see it from a certain perspective as that. But then when it comes time for them to really enjoy the true pleasures of sexuality, period, and then the
Right.
experience itself, they're all messed up in the head and confused because of what they've been taught and told.
Yeah, it's find out for yourself. I remember.
Exactly.
I mean, when I say greedy, it's like Jermaine says, Rich, what do you mean by greedy? I mean, greedy is a very sneaky thing. It's not a good thing. Greed is not a, greed is not a healthy action. Let me put it that way. You know what happens to people when they're too greedy with food? You get overweight, obesity, disease.
Hmm.
It's the same way with sexual. Anybody that's
Yeah.
anybody that's a rapist is a greedy person.
Hmm.
Anybody that's trying to force a woman to do what she doesn't want to do that's greed.
Hmm.
That's when you only concerned about your own satisfaction.
Mm.
Sex is a beautiful thing, even if it's one-sided, but it's more beautiful when everybody's agreed and on the same cloud, so to speak. Um, but winding this down, ladies. I guess
Mhm.
Deja never came back. I mean,
I'm
not
here.
Deja. Not
Oh,
Deja.
Sinead.
But no, I think it's very interesting in winding this down, ladies. And I'm gonna let you ladies speak again, but men can learn so much more from women with sex. I know men have an ego thing, and men have a power. That's okay. Men are protectors and we predators, and this is what we do. We men, but we have a sensitive side too.
Mhm.
Um, but I'm gonna talk more. I'm gonna talk more on this sexuality thing and these terms and nasty and freak and hoe and you can't trust her and slut and
Mhm.
it's more married men in the strip joint than
Mhm.
than single men. There's more preachers and priests. Have they now? You talk about freaks. Little boys and all of this stuff. It's gone beyond freak. That's the greed, and it's gone beyond. If you look at pornography, it's gone beyond sex.
But that also has to do with the economic stance and power, because there's so much that can evolve from sexual experiences. There's power in sex. You can manifest. People do sex rituals. Like they don't tell these stories. They tell other stuff, but they don't tell these stories. That's why
Oh,
the priests are having sex with the little
right,
boys, because they're taking things from they're taking from them. They're draining. They're
right,
overpowering them.
right,
And
right.
that
And we
whole
that's true.
industry about let us take so that we can have, that's the group they're talking about. Let us take so that we can have for
Yeah,
ourselves. And not
right,
only are we having for ourselves this power, this essence, getting from this innocence, but we're also gaining pleasure sexual.
right. And and in closing, I just want to say, to me, sex is a spiritual thing, not a religious thing.
It is. Mm-hmm.
It's very spiritual to me. But I'm into the woman. If I'm into pleasing her, and then like I say, there's got to be another live on this because I'm into pleasing the woman spiritually and
Mm-hmm.
sexually, and that's beyond pleasure to me. Pleasure is a different thing, but we'll go into that. Uh, wow, this has been fun, and it. We gotta continue this Queen's Corner, yo, and Deja, Shanae,
Definitely.
Kenya, and Jermaine behind the scenes, and those of you watching, Siren, all the questions, and Kamar, my man, we didn't. Kamar had a couple of statements, but we're gonna do this again. We're gonna do this again because I really want to have like a platform where we got the kings and queens, and we get into these names and sluts and playboys and freaks
Mhm.
and all of this stuff, and and just let us get naked and go. No, we're gonna go at it. It's time me acting silly now. This is Mental Roller Deck. This is Rich Lamar and Shanae. we give gratitude and Adizia and Queen Kenya. And I'm Rich Lamar, and I say positive energy to all. We out.